Hey, peeps. What's going on? Nicole Cooper here. And I want to hop on, guys. I want to first say thank y'all for the birthday love. Like, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Since first thing this morning, about 6 o'clock, my phone's been going off. DM's been going off. Inbox messages been going on. I mean, it's so much birthday love that I cannot even respond. Like, I think we all know that, right? When you start getting all this love, especially through social media, you get so much love from people that it gets very hard to respond. So I just want to say thank y'all so much for the birthday love, because even though it's a simple gesture to just put in a text or a 2-second message, you know, guys, we never know the impact that that can have on people's lives. They might not have the best birthday. There might be reasons why people are, you know, it can be stuff going on in their life on that day, and just seeing all these messages pop up just make you feel like important and that people care, and that, you know, they're thinking about you. And so I just want to tell y'all, it makes me feel so doggone special. I tell you the truth, because today was the last day of school for the kids, and so that's all I was focused on. I went and got cake and cupcakes and drinks and stuff for the kids to have a party. I was just focusing. We went and printed all the school pictures of the year, all the pictures we took for their trips, and put albums together for the teachers. So today I was focusing on the kids, but you guys allowed me to remember that today was my birthday. So I want to thank you guys so much, because, you know, I'm not the best at celebrating myself, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So while I'm on here, I want to talk to you guys about 6 lessons I've learned in my 42 years of living, okay? And I chose 6 because 4 plus 2, I'm 42 today, 4 plus 2 equals 6, and I just felt like it was a good number. I can't give y'all 42 lessons. Y'all ain't got time for that, right? But I want to give y'all 6 lessons that I've learned that could potentially help some of you guys, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, dang, you know, I'm 42. There's specific things that I've learned over the years. There's some key things that I feel are just wise. It's just wise insight for where I am today, as opposed to who I was a couple years back, where I was just in a totally different place. And I want to share with y'all those 6 lessons. Lesson number 1, okay, is it's okay to put yourself first. I was just having a conversation with somebody, and we were talking about the fact that a lot of us are so good at helping everybody else, but we often can be so bad about putting ourselves first. And if you are an entrepreneur, if you're in business, or whatever stage you are in your life, if there's certain things that you want for yourself personally, and you often wonder why you haven't accomplished it, but other people can come to you and you can help them make magic out of you could turn an idea into a reality in no time for other people. You have the mojo and the ability to create what you want. You just got to learn to put yourself first. And so I will tell you guys, listen, it is okay to be self-focused. Many of us think that when you get focused on yourself, you're being selfish. That's not true. You have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you try to go and put it on other people. And the reason why, guys, is you cannot give from an empty cup. One of my mentors many years ago said, you give out of your overflow, not your resources. If you don't have no resources, if your tank is on E, if you're not filling up your own cup to be able to sustain you, to be able to take care of your own personal life, your own personal well-being, your own personal needs, then you have nothing to give to nobody. So stop feeling guilty about making yourself a priority, and know that it is okay to be self-focused. Being self-focused is not being selfish. You got it? Being self-focused is not being selfish. It is the ability to keep your cup full. Guys, when you have the necessary resources, you give out of your overflow. That means that if you have extra, you can give. If you have nothing, you need to fill your own cup first. You got it? All right, cool. Lesson number 2. So lesson number 1 was it's okay to put yourself first. Lesson number 2 is this. No matter how bad you mess up in life, God can always come and adjust your sail and get you back on track. Guys, in life, we will make mistakes. We will do the wrong things. We will make poor decisions. We will make dumb decisions. We will put ourselves in a position where it feels like we're always hitting the reset button. It happens, right? Because life is one big adventure. You are always going to be exploring. You're going to be curious enough to try new things. And that's the beautiful thing about life. But I want us to not be so afraid to fail, because failure is not the fact that you are a failure. Failure is simply you making an attempt to try something and discovering that it may not work, but understanding that that encounter can often lead to showing you what can. Yesterday I shared the fact that the process of elimination is just as beneficial as in your clarity process as anything else. So knowing what you don't want to do is just as good as knowing what you do want to do. So it is extremely important to be okay with failing and failing forward and failing fast. There's nothing wrong with trying new things. So as I said, point number 2 is that no matter how bad you mess up, God can always adjust your sail and get you back on track. That's point number 2. Point number 3 is extend more grace to others. If there's one lesson that I've learned, it is that give people grace. Guys, it is so easy to grow up and be extremely judgmental. I personally, as a mom, it's funny that I look at my kids and you realize that your kids are regurgitating what they hear you say and what they see, right? And one of the things that I have to constantly do is correct them on their perspectives, because a lot of times they're so used to things being the way that they know it, that if something is unfamiliar to them, it's like, why do they do that? How come they talk like that? Why do they wear things like that? And it's like, let me explain to you, everybody has a different life. And instead of looking at it from a place of judgment, give them grace and understand that people are doing the best that they can based on what they know and based on where they come from. And so it is okay for other people to be different. We have to get better at extending people grace. Even when people get offended, right? I can be honest and say that I was one of those people that would be quick to tell people my mind, right? I'm going to tell them how I feel. And that's cool if you want to have a conversation. But a lot of times it's not about telling people your mind. It's about understanding what's going on in theirs so that you can understand why they did what they did in the first place that may come across to offend you. So if there's anything that I've learned, and I'm constantly learning, right? Even with my kids, they do stuff and I want to start fussing at them, and I'm like, okay, take into consideration this is a 7-year-old brain. Today, my son, we have these sodas in the trunk. Why I still left them in there, I don't know. But he likes to sneak them. Right? So today he called himself sneaking a soda. Well, it's starting to get hot. And so he's about to hop in the car, and he takes the soda and he tosses the soda on the back seat. And next thing you know, we hear this explosion and this fizz everywhere. Water just splurted everywhere, and it was just this fizz. And my daughter was like, oh my God, what did you just do? Like, she started going into fussing mode, which probably was a reflection of me, always fussing first. And I looked back there and I said, baby, listen, this is a good science experiment. This is a good understanding that there's a chemical in the soda that when it gets hot, it's going to explode. It's okay. The seat will dry. Hop in the seat and let's go. I was so proud of myself for being mature enough to give that kid grace, because the normal mama in me would have been fussing about him wetting up my back seat. But we ended up turning it into a teachable moment. And that was just a great lesson for me to be reminded that give people grace. They're performing based on what they know within their mindset. And sometimes they might do some stuff that you think is dumb, but in their mind was a pretty cool idea, right? So give people grace. As point number 3. Point number 4 is this. You are not an imposter, sweetheart. You know, imposter syndrome is very huge. And over the years, I've personally dealt with this a lot. Because a lot of times, guys, imposter comes from our self-limiting beliefs and our perspectives about ourselves. And because of how I was raised, and because of how I grew up, and because of just childhood encounters, a lot of times we limit ourselves according to what we thought we would become as a kid, or what people said about us as a kid, as opposed to how we've developed and evolved over the years. And although we've developed and evolved, sometimes those childhood thoughts or those childhood encounters or those childhood words would come back to you and make you feel like you're an imposter, because you have this idea or this concept that you want to pursue something that you may not necessarily feel qualified for. But I want you to understand this. Listen, your thoughts, your desires, your dreams, your ambitions are designed to be bigger than you. Why? Because God wants you to rely on his God-sized goals and God-sized dreams for you to actually create your destiny. Your destiny cannot be framed in your human mind. That's why we actually have God give us this vision to show us what's possible so that we can get connected to that. Because if we allow our human mind to try to convince ourselves that, that based on our capacity, our experiences and our background, all that stuff, that we can create these things, what happens is your human mind will work against the God-driven vision. And so we have to be mindful that you were designed to see things beyond your ability to create them. That's why you need God in your life to guide you. And that's why you need to be reminded that there's a destiny for your life that was already predestined before you were born, because there's an assignment that is designed to happen through you. And it is not about you doing it within your own human limitations, but it is about you understanding that God wants to work through you to impact other people.